to Stellaris, where in the last episode we had our first major war with our neighbor to the, let's call it, northwest. Yes, I know cardinal directions don't make sense in space, but we also don't know what the rotation direction of the whole universe is, so we also can't do something like it's in the direction of the rotation or counter to that, so let's just use cardinal directions. We actually won that war, but I'm not sure if it's actually a peace that we've achieved, because it more looks like, yeah, we're gonna have another fight another day. So we should be prepared for that. Also, I noticed that I kind of forgot to give our people new jobs, because they are clamoring for new jobs. So let's actually start by fixing that, by building another mining district, also city district. Long term, we probably have to tear down either the agriculture or the generator district here, because we probably need more buildings in the long run. We still haven't either of those. That's a shame. These guys also desperately need jobs. It's just gonna get one clerk job, so let's get a bunch of clerk jobs going. And similar here. That and another commercial zone, I guess. Alright. We should use the current peacetime to rebuild. I mean, we didn't lose much, but we need to build up further, so that hopefully next time they might decide that we're not worth the hassle. I don't know. But so far our strategy has worked out reasonably well, with kind of using the system as a blocker and as a fallback point, and then just moving into their direction to annoy them a little. There's also quite a few research projects that we can do here, so let's do that while we're still at peace and while we have full access to their systems. I'm also wondering if I should take control of additional systems just to block them off, because right now, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, they can just take their construction ships and just fly through and say, you know what, these systems here are unclaimed, you know, let's just take those. So I may want to do something about that. But we'll see. So far they have to send their the science ships first, take a look at the systems, and then at some point they're probably gonna want to consider if they want to build something there. Anyway, when my fleet has returned, I think we're gonna take a small detour and take out those mining drones over there. I think you can already get your ass over there too, because then we have a new system to explore. What's happening? Declare Saint and Peace Festivals. Yeah. And now the rest also wants more money thrown their way.
Debris analyzed.
Oh well. Oh, we need more energy though. So let's sell a bunch of that. Alright guys, I'd like you to go over here next. Wait, one of them isn't fully repaired yet. Guess we're gonna be making a stop here. Both of you?
Debris analyzed.
Alright, analyzing that debris didn't give us anything new, but some valuable research points, regardless, so it's probably still worth it. Alright, so now you're done with repairs. Let's move here. Our Admiral also gained some experience from that war, but he is already getting old to the point where we may have to replace him anyway. However, also our ships gain experience. If we take a closer look at that, we can see that all of them are at the experience level now. Which, considering that we started out with some of them without our fancy new upgrade that already gives ships some measure of experience to begin with,
Construction complete.
they probably didn't all have before the war. So they also got slightly better because, you know, we had a rigorous training exercise going on, I guess. Alright, I want you to stand at the ready here in case they decide to try and take that pocket as well. Because I'm not sure if they want to try and expand down here or up here. So we should be prepared for eventualities. Alright, you got enough jobs for now. It's good. Also like more research, to be honest, or just something. Also gene clinics might be good because more population growth.
Special product complete.
Yeah, we secured another specimen, great. Go for another research lab. How many of these specimens still need? Only the one.
Construction complete.
I'm guessing it's not that one though, right? Oh, it is. Well, I guess the war then kind of had that effect, at least, that we managed to get that special assignment done, because we managed to procure all the species that we needed. Cool. So let's also upgrade that. And since we are doing it, let's also upgrade that. We also recently got the possibility to build destroyers now, which I very much like. Going to be taking a look at that in a second. For now, let's focus on combat.
Hostile Xeno fleet engaged.
We lost a corvette. That's not too bad though. I would actually like to reduce my number of corvettes a little bit.
We have mastered a new technology.
Alright, check out those guys. Let's head home for some tea over here and, you know, repairs. God damn it, why? Alright, afterburners. Missiles. And let's also take a look at the ship designer, because so far we've always relied on the automated best system to design ships for us. I think though that we'll wanna change that for the future, because some of those designs are not really very good. I mean, I kind of like the missile boat corvette design, because, you know, you can already swarm your enemy from afar with missiles, so that's not too bad. But now that we have destroyers, I think we should consider having some sort of counter to those missiles, and I think a reasonable counter would be the picket ship bow, where basically instead of just mounting guns on that thing, we can also decide to mount some point defense on the ship, which we can use to shoot down missiles. So let's install a sentinel here, and then another blue and a mass driver. So armor and shields. And you already got afterburners. It's fine. And picket ship is also a fine choice. Alright. And we're gonna save that one. Sabot is still fine. We're gonna get better missiles soon, so for now I'm gonna leave it on auto. Because then I don't have to manually always go back here and replace the whole thing. So far it's good enough for me. Alright, so... let's add some destroyers here now. Let's say 2. And... let's go with more harmony.
Special product complete.
Alright. All the specimens asked for by the Museum of Exobiology have been secured. The museum has grown to a massive facility where artificial gravity generators and atmospheric processes are used to simulate the environments of over a dozen worlds. Visitors are journeying from all across the Empire to see its wonders. Well, excellent. Gave me some more influence and also a whole bunch of unity, which I generally am always all up for. There's one thing I just noticed. Apparently I forgot to build mines here. Which is a little
Construction complete.
Alright then. So the question is, are these guys still busy with those guys? Are they still at war? Let's check out. Yeah, they're still at war with... in the Luretian Zapodrogan self-protection war. Okay. But so far they don't seem to have been done too well.
We have mastered a new technology.
Alright, That's... Turn. Alright then. I think we could also
We have mastered a new technology.
could also improve that starhold a little bit further. In a second. Terraforming. Might be interesting. Also considering we find ourselves at war is also... that is not too bad, but let's clear blockers for now.
Construction complete.
Alright. Let's head back to Belazir for the time being. We are still in a phase of truce with these guys, so we don't have to worry about the war restarting any day at this point. But it could start at some point. And, you know, they continue to claim our systems, so that's that.
Debris analyzed.
We got research on mining drone lasers. Neat. Alright, you do one more work. Well, that's a bit of a shame because we really don't have anything at this point. Can go for another city district, but I have a similar issue here though. Damn, we need some upgraded technologies. Real bad. Now let's avoid the problem here by going for commercial zones. Though I do really like gene clinics. are getting into overcrowding issues at the moment. Which, you know, not particularly great. I'll blame it on having to postpone stuff because of the war. There would be an easy way to address this. We always have the option to just take the system and then colonize the planet here, which has a bit of space.
Construction complete.
The Empire Sprawl, we're already 20 points above where I wanted to be, so I think we're just gonna not do that for the time being. Let's take more trade. We need at least one. Or, well, that's actually not trade, but for that. Guess we're gonna do another one then too. Okay. For that, I'd like it to return here. Alright, let's go for commercial zones. Discovered an abandoned solar sail ship in orbit around Nunes 1. Sublight vessel was built by an unknown culture and appears to be several thousand years old. One of the massive sails has a large tear where some kind of object passed through. Most likely a meteoroid, which happened to disable the vessel. Although the technology of the ship is severely outdated, it does possess some interesting engineering design choices. Well,
construction complete. Construction complete. We have mastered a new technology.
So, better thrusters are potentially interesting. Also, just more research points is also nice.
System survey complete.
But you made it there. You also have built a shipyard there so that it can upgrade so they can upgrade down there. We're still having a pirate situation under control, guys. Currently here, and that's well under control. So reasonably well under control. Alright. So we don't need to build more forces for that. Okay, good. But we can build more starbases now.
Our ships have been upgraded.
Let's consider where we want to build those, actually. We could build one here, so we know very good reason not to. And we could build one more, but where are we going to build it? I want to upgrade that. We have some spare alloys left at the moment, so we should also use them and not just hoard them. For now I'm waiting on increasing my naval capacity, but we just managed to do that by quite a bit. So now we can add some more destroyers here. And go and build them. This will go slightly above our naval capacity, but it's fine, we're still building. So now I want to build them here. That's what I kind of was worried about. Let's actually scratch that order. Guess I'm gonna do it manually. Because I would like them to be built here at Toral, because we have more shipyards here, and you know, we also have our military academy here, so It's generally preferable for us to build ships here, but I guess the game just figured, you know, do have all these ships down there, and it's gonna take quite a while for them to get down there from up there, which is a valid point, admittedly,
complete.
but I'd rather have them built here and fly them down. We don't need them down there immediately.
Construction
They're gonna be
complete.
built up there much faster and with more experience.
Construction complete.
So I'll take that instead. You can upgrade your platforms, I guess.
Construction complete.
So there was a pack of 4 just out of the blue. We could go for 2 more. Could also go for 4 more. Let's go for 4 more. May have to pay a little bit more for a short time until we catch back up with our fleet limit, but it's gonna be fine. This way we're gonna have a really powerful Classes 1 group very soon, which hopefully at least helps deter from getting other people to want to fight us. Because in the past they had a superior fleet power to us, but now we are getting to a point with all these new shiny destroyers that we are at least equal to them in fleet power. So at that point they might be wondering if it's really worth all the hassle.
Construction complete.
Alright, you could also go down there.
We have mastered a new technology.
Okay, I'll go to those lasers. They're fine, I guess. Because we defeated those mining drones and kind of got some hints as to what lasers they were using. Could research that and then include it on our ship designs. As kind of a special weapon. But I would really like some administrative capacity research right about now, you know? Or another civic, so I can take care of the issue myself. Oh well. Well, that thing is done. Anchorage.
We have mastered a new technology.
Well, quite. I guess we're gonna take Adaptability. Yeah, they continue claiming stuff. Not sure what's going on with the war here, because it seems like neither of them has taken any systems, or is that war over? No, it's still going. Don't know what's up with that. You're done here, okay.
Construction
So,
complete.
what am I going to do with those guys? It's an interesting question, because right now I really don't have anything to do for these guys. So I guess they're gonna return to the planets and help assisting research.
Xenomongrels have declared war
there.
on each other.
Oh. It's those guys against those guys. Well, I guess gives those guys less of a reason to start fighting against us as well, which I don't particularly mind. Maybe I'm even gonna move a fleet out of here now that they have another war to contend with. And those guys are much more reasonable, so I wouldn't mind sharing a border with them here.
Construction complete.
Because we already have non-aggressive treaties with them and all that. So that would really help our situation. Even though they are going to become more powerful and all that, which might turn out to be a problem later, but they seem to be more reasonable than the rest, at least. And we can deal with reasonable. With aggressive xenophobes that just want to kill everything, we can probably not deal with that very effectively, but reasonable people have a way of getting other solutions across as well. Alright, let's do that. Alright, let's also put that to 10, and now everything's hunky-dory. Cool. Okay. Logistics office, great. Some trade hubs. So for trading company. And we really don't need the crew quarters here. So I'm guessing we're gonna get some soul silos. Doesn't really matter. There's something else that I want at some point, but don't have that right now.
Construction
and one of our care packages has run out, which is not a huge problem because those we sent those favorable trade deals now have pretty good relations with us because we have a non-aggression pact with them and we kept our word so far. So that's going to keep us in a positive number with them. So that's all good. Instead of having unreasonable gift packages, we just have trust. Let's also see if we can get those guys to get them off our back long term. So let's also do the same strat here. Gonna send them some minerals and I guess a little bit of food for a very long term deal. Add some energy to it as well, so we get it to 100. Alright, great. Now that we got them to that, they still don't want it because they already have quite a number of non-aggression pacts. Well, fair enough. Maybe they'll change their mind. Also, they're pretty far away at this point, so they're probably wondering, why are we going to go for a non-aggression pact? We share no border, and we're pretty far away from you. Which is a valid point, I guess.
We have mastered a new technology.
Hyper entertainment forums. I guess. Can we actually... Actually, we get gas now, right? No, we get volatile moles already, but not gas. Look at that. Well, we could technically buy gas. Okay, so we can use it and we could technically buy it. I'm gonna add a new monthly trade here. We can also do automized deals if we want to, if we don't want to hoard stuff and deal manually. So I'm just gonna set it to, let's say 2. We're automatically each month gonna buy two gas on the market because we don't have the extraction technology, but we have things that could use it. So while we do have some natural gas in Iras, we still are not able to harvest it. So, but this might give us additional options in terms of buildings, and because some of these buildings that we have, like research labs and civilian industries, even the commercial zones can be upgraded further, but most of them require special technologies, and then also buildings that on a monthly basis need some kind of special strategic resource. So we want to have a decent influx of that. So you have things that can be cleared. Let's do that then. So I have a blocker here. So blocker here, then we can clear now. Alright then. Okay, those guys close the borders because our truce has run out. We're gonna be doing the same. Before they get any interesting ideas. Oh, we have also closed our borders on them. Okay. Well. It's okay.
We have mastered a new technology.
But the not very good thing about that, obviously, is that now they can decide to restart that war that we just had. So, considering what our current strategic position is, I think I might actually send them somewhere else, like here maybe.
We have mastered a new technology.
Get a crew quarters here. Sure. To go back to the ship designer now, we could, instead of using the blue laser, use the mining drone laser, which has
construction complete.
About the same average damage. However, it does have better bonuses against dealing damage to the hull. So it's a nice thing at least, but the accuracy is lower. And tracking is low, so it would be bad against smaller maneuverable targets. Like corvettes, which probably most of our opponents are currently using, so... hard to tell, really. Don't think it's worth the trade-off. Would be better against stationary objects like Starbases and all that, but... let's try them out. We could also build more at this point. So let's build another 4-pack. Still haven't seen any ships from these guys here.
Complete.
You know, our tributaries that we enlightened with spacefaring technology recently.
Construction complete.
I think I did give them some resources. Why haven't you used them for anything, guys? Do you need more? You can bring a little bit, I think.
Construction complete.
No?
Construction complete.
Just make sure that you are able to do shit. Alright, these guys made peace. Apparently they had a special war where they immediately took control of stuff, so the Lurite Unity did actually take over some territory in this area.
Xeno-mongrels have declared war on each other.
And these guys have also started fighting. Everyone wants to fight. We actually don't. But we got into a fight regardless. Also, someone found someone very interesting over there. I want to find their entry here. Those. The Kuvap Protectors. They're what's called a fallen empire. Basically someone with way more advanced technology than literally anyone else. And even though they have a very small area that they control, they just have totally overwhelming fleet, economic power, and technology levels. So, thankfully they're pretty far away, but if they should ever decide to take a more active role in galactic politics, the universe is probably gonna notice. But hopefully we'll still have a couple of 100 years before that happens. Alright. Speed that up a little bit, because right now really not much interesting is happening here. We're building stuff.
Construction
so probably
complete.
gonna... No, wrong one. Also go for some upgrades. Now, compared to our neighbors, we're still at equivalent, and compared to the Ravagers, also equivalent. So, at least we're kind of holding at a level where we have similar fleet power as our neighbors. But also consider getting that system. There's not really nothing interesting in here, but it gives me a possibility to build a defensive starbase in front of my shipyard, which doesn't have the best defense, you know?
Our ships have been upgraded.
But ideally, we're not gonna go to war with these guys anyway, so I don't think it's really that necessary. But speaking of necessities, we want to build some more stuff. Only gives one job, sorry. Well, we'll be building it regardless. Hopefully we'll soon have fewer issues with that. I only got some diplomatic insults from these guys. Don't you have enough problems, you know, with these
We have
folk?
mastered a new technology.
We really need more issues. I guess they saw a fleet moving
have
away from
mastered a
there, and
new
now they figured,
technology.
you know, we can attack them now. Oh dear God in heaven! Didn't expect that to show up that early, but I'll fucking take it. Thank you, goddess. That's actually a rare technology that we were very interested in looking for. What helped, actually, I think, if I remember the numbers correctly, is having a maniacal researcher. A huge portion of our future development is gonna hinge on psionic theory, and it's also part of the reason why I still have an Ascension perk that I haven't selected. Because we wanna, you know, unshackle our inner power, basically. Psionics. Which it is called in this game.
We have
And,
mastered a new technology.
It's pretty damn powerful. And I'd like to have that at some point. Normally, I feel like I need to flip through society research again, again, and again until it finally shows up. But here the game just decides, you know what? Gave you a hard time in the beginning phases of the game, but here's your psionic theory. Well, okay. We can work with that. Ah, great. As I said, it's going to become a very interesting part of our strategy long term. And also now build gas extractors, so I guess we don't really need those
Construction complete.
this regular intervals here. Also, we have full influence that I should use for something. Okay. Okay, I'll explain more about psionics and why it's totally awesome and totally the reason for why we've been running things the way we did. For instance, what helped in getting that research in the first place is that we're spiritualist, which also increases our odds at gaining that technology. You can also get that technology potentially if you don't have spiritualist, but spiritualist has a pretty huge bonus. Then basically, I pushed everything into favorable conditions of getting that. So I was still expecting not to get that for the next 50 years or so, so I appreciate the game throwing me a bone there. Also, I appreciate that after our second package, these guys have finally decided to start building stuff. Since they're a tributary, they are not gonna take control of unclaimed systems, I think.
Construction complete.
Actually, it seems like they do. That's gonna change things slightly. Because then I'm gonna be taking control of that immediately. Normally I thought they should not be allowed to do so. Strange. Very strange. Let me actually check something real quick. I thought normally you would need to have... No, it doesn't even exist anymore. Oh damn. Well, in the past you needed to have a specific civic that would allow your tributaries and basically every subjugated empire under you to just be able to claim uninhabited systems. Apparently they changed that so that they can always do it, which on the one side is good because then we don't need to have a civic that otherwise doesn't really do much, but we need to take control of something before I really wanted to. I need to keep an eye on that because there's a whole lot of more unclaimed systems here that I don't really want them to take. So, but for now they're just holding there. I have no problem with just them taking control over these two systems. We wouldn't have probably used them for a long time anyway, although this planet is pretty huge and might have been interesting at some point, but I don't particularly mind that. I would have even at some point considered just getting the systems, terraforming the planets to their liking, and then just said, here you go, we already prepared the planet for you. But if they want to take it on their own initiative, then they can bloody well do that.
We have mastered a new technology.
And now that ship is moving over there, yeah, that's why we're already starting to build an outpost here. And while we probably
construction complete.
Build one over there next. Sorry. Yes. Like that. We can now upgrade our buildings, like I mentioned earlier. Instead of having normal research labs, we can upgrade it to research complexes, which provide more jobs. And also needs gas, but we do have lots of gas, so we're gonna upgrade all of that. Let's build another city district. The greater good. You probably want more jobs too. We are getting civilian fabricators soon, so let's build another civilian industries before that becomes an issue. Because now with our improved research labs we're gonna make use of more consumer goods, so we should also create more consumer goods in the first place. And we'll be able to upgrade them soon as well. So that ship is still loading here, fine. That's all okay.
Construction complete.
Well, they also have a very impressive fleet, but it's at a similar level as we originally started out at, so can't laugh too hard about that. And let's continue to build here. Alrighty, we could build more ships. So we're gonna do that. I think they're close enough this time, so we can just use the menu here. Alright, good choice.
We have mastered a new technology.
And Psionics is about to get ready. Oh joy.
We have mastered a new technology. Construction complete. We have mastered a new technology.
And that was Psionics. Cool. Let's actually... Well, for now it just looks very underwhelming. It gives us a 5% bonus to our Unity, which, you know, is nice. But it gives us so much more. In a second, actually. Because now that we have researched psionics, we can spend one of our ascension perks in mind over matter that we already had, you know, inactive for quite a while. We're actually going to get our next ascension point pretty soon. And only a fraction of the potential contained within our mind has been unlocked. The latent psionic abilities of our species are now only beginning to manifest in certain individuals. So we're going to research that. So we're going to unlock that. Since the dawn of our civilization, tales have flourished of mighty sorcerers wielding powers that can only be described as supernatural in nature. Those rare Panuri could supposedly invade the minds of their fellows, lift heavy objects with merely a thought, or perform any number of other magical feats. Until recently, these stories were just that, stories. Now, however, our scientists have finally obtained conclusive evidence that proves there's psionic potential inherent in certain Panuri individuals. Although only a very small minority of our species as a whole seem to be gifted with psionic powers, their numbers relative to the total population have grown steadily in over just the last few centuries. Whether that's due to some kind of sudden evolutionary growth spurt, or because something has triggered latent psionic abilities that were always present in our genetic code, scientists can't say. A glimpse, perhaps, of the future that awaits us. Alright. Now we have latent psionics as an additional perk, which gives us additional bonuses to research and energy credits that we produce, which is nice. Also, some of our leaders can now have special abilities. None of our current leaders do, but in the future we would be able to hire people with much more impressive psionics talent. Just don't have any of those yet. But it's all gonna become just a lot more intense and very quickly, because selecting mind over matter also enables us to research another technology that puts us further down the path that we just embarked on. So that's nice. I actually wanted to sell some minerals, or spend them. Well, I guess we're gonna go to a few more districts. I'm probably also gonna sell some. Alright then. Alright. Our buddies also took over that system now.
Construction complete.
And we still have naval capacity left. I guess more destroyers. And we can build another outpost if we chose.
We have mastered a new technology. Construction complete.
Okay. Yeah, let's take that. Well, housing seems to be a pretty good idea right now. Well, we need to build less districts, and you know, a lot of our capacity right now is from the whole bunch of districts that we had to build, just to keep our people, you know, busy and entertained. But it's all going well. Just because the game decided to just show me Psionics, I'm suddenly... Well, this is actually going quite well.
We have mastered a new technology.
Alright, we've also unlocked Telepathy, which is pretty expensive, but I think I'm still gonna be researching that next. On first glance, again, it seems pretty unimpressive. We would now be able to create a special type of ground forces, which we haven't really joined any ground forces at this point anyway, so some of you are probably wondering, what, ground forces? But if we wanted to invade planets of other races, we would not just need to take control of the system, like we, for instance, did in Kizo during our last war. We would also have to go down to the planet here, to Queenie Ethigurk. And then we can't see it because it's far outside of our range, but they probably have some ground forces here, so we would need to send ours in order to deal with that.
We have mastered a new technology.
Ground forces also have special leaders that also so far we haven't really trained anyone, but they're there. Take a look at the leaders tab. They have specialized generals that can lead ground forces. And as I mentioned earlier, we now have the chance for people to have the special psychic trait, which gives a lot of bonuses. So if another war would start, I might probably be interested in hiring that guy and making use of that. Oh, Celestial Emperor has died. No, he just recently, you know, awoken our talents, but none of them are psionics. Oh well. So he's Marcus the First, and he has an heir, which is this time at least a lot younger, but it's also Marcus Aurelius. Fine. You can select which kind of naming scheme you pick, and I decided that having Roman names might be funny. I don't know if you think the same way, or if you just facepalming at that, but it's at least somewhere funny in my head. Cruises might be interesting. You know, as much as I like Crystal, we don't immediately have it in any of our systems, but I think there we would have some. So we could get some Crystal, but you know, cruises. Seems like a pretty reasonable idea. Let's go for that, because as fun as destroyer armies are, at some point we will have to think, you know, can't we just have bigger ships? And the answer is yes, we totally can. Oh. Alright, we have quite an impressive military force now. I think we're still only equivalent to our neighbors, but it should give us much more of a fighting chance next time. Because now all of a sudden we have 3.6, and why are we getting so little intelligence from that system? Seriously, why are we getting so little intelligence? And you want me to get to build a listening post somewhere? Is that it? And well, that war was kind of well, both sides won some and lost some.
Construction complete. Construction complete. Construction complete.
Okay, we are lacking crystal for that. Let's actually buy some on the market. And well, we don't have some ourselves. Let's add a new monthly trade. And now we can also improve our fabricators. And that war is also over. So now these guys might be, well, in a position where they could start fighting against us. Okay. So, since we have Mind over Matter now, we can next choose to become transcendent. Stand on the threshold of awakening the true psionic might of our species. Our minds are ready and we have heard whispers of a psychic realm beyond our own. So, let's do that. The Penuri species has experienced with what can only be described as a great awakening. For a time now, we've been aware of the great psionic potential inherent in our species, but such powers have only manifested themselves in a small minority until now. Almost overnight, everyone have unlocked their full psionic capacity. It's as some sort of communal pool of psychic energy finally reached a critical tipping point, collectively awakening the latent talents of our brains. Telepathy has already replaced the most verbal communication between Penuri, and this is only the one small example of the innumerable changes our society is faced with. We're now tied together in a way few of us could have ever imagined. So now, instead of it being a rare trait, everyone has Psychic, which is pretty nice, you know. Our researchers just get a 10% bonus, and also 25% to survey speed if we need that, so it's getting it's getting pretty nice. Like a muffled whisper in the dark room, the shout calls to us from within our minds. It's a primordial realm of pure psychic energy that has come into being at the dawn of time. All creatures that have been gifted with psionic abilities tap into the shout in some way to draw power, even when it's subconsciously. Since our transcendence, we've begun to see the shout with greater clarity. The patterns where once even our strongest telepaths could only see a formless mass of swirling energy. There are other things as well, spirits of a sort that gaze back on us from the other side, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with kindness, and sometimes with malice. We're still in the process of learning the extent of our new powers, but it may be possible for us to commune with those spirits. It requires the combined efforts of our most powerful telepaths. Well, let's reach that then. We can now invest a whole lot of research into breaching that shroud, but for now I'm just gonna put that aside because we have more interesting things to develop right now. Okay, I think I'm gonna build another base here. And also, if we take a look at our species, we now are not just latently psionic, but fully. So we get another 5% bonus to research and energy credits, and also 5% happiness. Our poor Babaki subjects, they haven't quite understood what's going on yet. But it's fine. It's fine. I guess we're gonna go for capacity overload. New campaigns here anyway. Alright then. Also suddenly we have less housing issues thanks to technologies. Still have employment issues, but we're working on that.
We have mastered a new technology.
And we can create psionic armies now, and civic slots. I actually would like that very much. Even though it's pretty expensive.
Construction complete.
But I'm gonna take it regardless.
We have mastered a new technology.
And we got the cruisers now. Whoa. That. Oh, so let's take a look at the ship designer real quick. Cruisers are now the next bigger ships. Also, obviously, the bigger the ship is, the more of those naval capacity points are they worth. Like, corvettes are worth 1, then destroyers 2, cruisers 4, the next bigger ship 8, and you kind of get the whole idea behind that. But also with being bigger, they are more efficient because they have lots more guns on them. Also, they're a lot more durable, which helps in them not dying and having a very experienced ship like the corvettes that we've used in our first war, just randomly dying to being hit by a stray missile, you know? So, I think generally bigger ships are better. They do have one small downside though, which is their speed continually becomes an issue. It's not that much of an issue for cruisers yet, but for bigger ships and cruisers it's going to become a problem. Since we have lots of corvettes with missiles at the moment, I would actually like to be my cruisers something different. Because we now have way more abilities to design them. And I would actually design them as artillery vessels so that I have long range and just pound the enemy from afar. So we're gonna go for that. Well, there's lots of other options. We could also make them a mobile hangar for smaller ships, but so far, fine. What's the range on that? 60? Well, 60 is fine, I guess. Yeah. Let's start with laser. Here we're gonna take a mass driver. We really need a better weapon than mass drivers, to be totally honest with you. Shields. And with the afterburners, their speed is actually not that bad. That's probably a little bit too much. I mean, the L category cannons do have the range, but the M size do not, so let's just get in line. Okay. We don't have the better drive yet. Change that. Okay. Let's upgrade these guys.
Construction complete.
Alright, cruiser, you had a good run here, but I think we're just getting better versions of you at some point. For now we don't have the fleet capacity though, but it's gonna change complete. Very quickly.
We have mastered a new technology.
Still haven't done that. That's a little funny, but...
Our ships have been upgraded.
What? Let's actually start training another fleet officer. I kind of forgot to put that guy into control of one of our patrolling fleets anyway, so he didn't get much experience recently. But it's fine. Okay. High menace. Go here. You can go there.
We have mastered a new technology.
Alright.
Special product complete.
Those guys are also now at peace. The diviners and the beings floating through the dark Tianki were hard to keep at a respectful distance. Could also probably do the studies here that we put off for a very long time. No, that... I wasn't taking a look at what that guy was doing. God bloody... When did they even get there? Jesus, I totally did not notice that. Well, I guess we'll just leave it as is, but I would really like to take control of that system at least, you know, for the crystal. But goddamn, man. I guess I don't mind too much.
We have mastered a new
You need to get back here, because they seem like they might also be inclined to just expand here, which you know seems pretty crazy, but they might do it regardless.
Special product complete.
Space Amoebas. The nickname became popular after the story of how it came to be found its way back to Sylvester. Are solitary animals when left to their own devices, but all but younger specimens are accompanied by quasi-independent organisms. Dubbed flagella, seemingly spawned by the amoeba and programmed through liquid RNA-laced secretions to do the bidding of the host. Initially assumed to be young space amoebas, the flagella do not seem to factor into any reproductive mechanics, each individual flagellum instead operating solely as a disconnected limb for its host amoeba. Those flagella are capable of manipulating and even attacking objects in an impressive restricted range around the host, periodically returning to lodge inside the host's body for reprogramming. Well, these are fascinating. We already got the option to research regenerative whole tissue, so those flagella are fascinating.
Special product complete.
They're not posturing with their mining lasers aimed at Penurian ships. The drones appear steadfast and dumbly hardworking, hacking away mineral-poor asteroids for want of something better to do. What's more interesting is that the drones are not completely silent. Contrary to earlier assumptions, they emit signal pings, though extremely infrequently and at a wavelength hard to isolate from background noise. If there is anyone left to receive those pings, might be a mystery at another time. Okay, fascinating automata.
Construction complete.
So take control of that system, for it also has some pretty interesting resource deposits. Sure, we just got the system, but they're already laying claim to it. Why not? I do need to keep an eye on those construction ships, because if they move north, we probably want to take control of more of those systems up there. If they just want to take those systems, then that's fine by me. Alright, and let's start building our first cruisers. Let's add some cruisers to that. Could fit 3. It's perfectly fine. Yep.
Construction complete. We have mastered a new technology.
You want to colonize something? Interesting. Well, our second Celestial Emperor died pretty young. I mean, died pretty recently after assuming the throne. Let's call it as it is. But he was already pretty old when he managed to get there, because his dear daddy was holding on to it for quite a long time. But,
Construction complete.
No, Marcus II is reigning. But they're rather inexperienced, which is a bit of a shame.
We have mastered a new technology.
Not the most impressive technology, really, but we're not getting it offered very often, so might just take it because of that. Although planet build speed is really not the most crucial factor most of the time. Oh well. So, how are things going compared to others? That technology that was superior. Damn. I'm starting to get a feeling that they might have actually been the one with an improved start.
We have mastered a new technology.
Alright, you got another civic slot. If you remember way back in the beginning. Oh, well, thank you. So we finally get that technology on offer. Damn it. We can now choose another civic. As I mentioned way in the beginning, we can't go out of our civics because they're very specialized. But we can choose new ones. So, for instance, I could choose efficient bureaucracy now. And if at a later point in time I think something else would be better, I could just swap that out. So let's reform for some influence. Now we're also getting closer to the administrative capacity. We're getting our administrative capacity closer to our empire sprawl, which is also going to help. As we've seen, just by taking that choice, all of a sudden we had enough unity to pick our next tradition, which I believe is going to be either adaptability or prosperity. They both have their uses. Let's get with adaptability first. Alright. Also, research is gonna be quicker and all that, you know? Which should help us get a technological edge compared to everyone else.
The vile zealots have declared war.
Well, so much about things going well. They want to go for a cleansing. Well... Okay. Well, apparently we need our ships back down there. But they also don't have their fleet parked right there. Anyway, let's take that outpost along the way. Also, interesting. Our buddies here are not into the war, which is good for them because then I don't need to hold their hands and all that. But that could have helped. I mean, they have a little bit of a fleet at this point. Actually, let's have you stand guard here in case they decide to attack from this angle. Which, I'm not sure. They recently took back some systems over there, so should take some precautions. Alright, let's get our best leader back. Where are you going? You don't want to head north, right? Does not look like it. All right, you can go and take that system. I don't mind. I don't mind that, but please don't head here. Just to go for some additional defense platforms here. We do have the spare alloys lying around, but not really the naval capacity to just build more ships instead. And we should also consider building some ground forces, because if we want to push the border further, we do need some ground forces. And we got our new psionic armies that we can build now, so I guess we're gonna do that. Let's all contribute with some ground forces. Just in case. For now, we're just gonna take that system that we wanted to take for quite a long time, and then we're just gonna hold for the time being. Maybe push the border here, actually.
Construction
But
complete.
we would need a secondary fleet to take care of that, because I don't think the cruiser alone will
We have
be able
mastered
to
a new
pull that off.
technology.
If we were to push them back here, this system would be interesting, because it kind of provides a neat cutoff here. After that, really not that great, because we're just gonna have an extended border here. Well, taking that might be nice. Not sure if cruiser can handle it by itself. We do have capacity for some more ships down the line, so let's build some escorts. Another 2 cruisers. If we lose corvettes in the fight down here, I'm probably gonna replace them just with cruisers, because while the corvettes are certainly nice and have their uses, they just die very quickly, and so you need to replace them very, very often. Since the people we're fighting are fighting kind of a different war than we had last time, Xeno-Purification War, which is kind of an absolute war, we'll immediately take control once we have destroyed the Starbase here. So we don't need to specifically, you know, set claims for systems and stuff like that. And an admiral has died, of course. It was kind of... We just started a war and he was already that old, so it just got a heart attack. Oh no, I have to fight actual battles now, not just fight against pirates. Oh god. Well, let's hire another one. Gonna be doing a great job leading our cruiser force very soon. Ideally, if they have some fleet here, I would like to attack them into Belazir, and then we just jump in with our fleet to assist. So if we can try to draw them out, I'd be all for that. But for now, we're just gonna take this little outpost.
Xeno station engaged.
Well, some of our corvettes were able to jump out instead of getting destroyed. So far, no losses. Good job. Doing a good job, Mattia. Very good job. Alright. Let's head here. Guess we could just say return home. Alright, good job. Did I say she did a good job? I think she did. Also build mining stations and stuff here.
Construction
I'm gonna
complete.
change that though.
Hostile Xeno fleet detected.
Yeah. That's fine. Starbases could probably deal with it by itself, but don't. If I don't need to take the risk,
We
I'm
have mastered a new technology.
not going to. Alright.
Construction complete.
Okay, a new cruiser force is ready. Get the new admiral. And together with our old special cruiser, we're gonna go over there and take that thing. Give them something else to potentially want to fight. You are actually going to attack? Okay. Well, you got 2 fleets there, so not the worst idea. And by the time they get here, this fleet should be repaired. Very good. Very good. Okay, let's hold back a little bit. Are probably gonna attack soon? No? No, they decided to move away. Probably want to react to my little foray over here, which is quite a long way off. You kidding? Yeah. Should have waited, I guess. I'd really like to take out that fleet, so let's actually save scum this a little bit. So here they're still moving west. So let's just keep waiting here. Let's wait until they start to engage us down there. Because I'd really like to take out some chunks of their fleet. Possible. But now they decided to just return to base. You're fickle little bastards, aren't you? All of a sudden I have a pretty decent fleet there. I mean, if they move out, then we'll just move in, I guess, but... shame. I guess that attack is a go anyway. So are you guys heading out now?
Xeno station engaged.
Are you? Yes. Okay. Well then we're gonna... whoops. In here? What the hell was that?
Hostile Xeno fleet detected.
Right. Sent back for repairs. They're barely able to do it. I mean, I lost their shields temporarily and a bit of armor, so they could probably deal with another one, but if we don't have to risk these beautiful ships, then we don't. Could also just build some more. So let's expand that fleet a little bit further. Alright. Something to research down here now, so let's Do that. What are you guys doing? You're heading... Whoa, you have 2 of those big fleets. So we're just gonna head back then. Don't want to tangle with 2 4K fleets that you have for whatever reason. At least not without our base in the background providing cover. Yeah, I'm aware. We're already moving out. Alright, so we do have quite a few transport fleets ready though. Where do I want to use them though? I really don't want to go too far here. And if I take one of their planets, I have to keep it too. Or just take it and then later after the war release it as their own vassal, which actually seems like a pretty decent option, all things considered. So I guess we're gonna move him down here. Well, I just take all this and then release that guy. Just have someone down here in a sector that I really have no interest in developing further in the near future. Actually sounds like a decent plan. Alright. Also, we're bleeding energy for whatever reason. What the hell's going on, guys? And I guess we could set up some monthly trades. Like, we have a lot of consumer goods that we really don't need crucially at the moment. By just selling them, we should be in the green numbers again. And with green, I mean white numbers. So, you're going to attack or just skedaddle again? I guess you're just gonna move somewhere else again, right? You can always fall back to a position here, so I don't particularly mind doing some hit and run over there.
Construction complete.
Why are you still that much faster than my ships? Jesus.
Hostile Xeno fleet engaged.
You're done repairing? I'm trying to offer them, you know, a seemingly abandoned
a new technology.
Starbase. Maybe they'll take the bait if I move my fleet out of there. Into the neighboring system that is totally not just waiting for them to move in there, you know? Alright. Paris. There is also a planet here that they want to colonize. Let's look at a general. Yeah, actually, apparently taking the bait. You bloody fools. Alright. As soon as we see them here, we move in. Turn.
One of our spaceports is under attack.
I know, it's all going according to plan. Spaceporters are going to be able to keep it busy, to keep him busy for a while, I think.
We have mastered a new technology.
Alright. Much about that fleet. Alright, next up over there. Also you're gonna merge. Get a new leader and you'll follow. They start colonizing that planet over there. So we're gonna take it off their hands. Also that planet over here. So we're just gonna take over their little pocket over there. With the plan that after the war we're just gonna want to release it. Because right now our administrative capacity is at 100, so with 103 plus a little bit from all of that is still gonna be fine. So with you I need to decide if I want to push, try and take out the fleet when it goes there for repairs, or if I just want to not do that. I think it's a pretty decent chance now that their other fleet is somewhere else, I think. But we need to move out now. Because I'm pretty sure that the remainders of the fleet that led the last battle are gonna turn up here any second. Nice, and this ship down here. Okay, it's still on the way. Right. Alright, I'll make a few changes here. We don't want to rebuild corvettes that we lost. Rebuilding destroyers that we lost is fine, but not corvettes. Why the... God damn it. This bloody fleet and its command issues.
We have mastered a new technology.
I also should take a look at the ship designer real quick. Let me do the following. I'm just gonna wrap up this episode right here. The next one we're gonna continue that war. That's probably gonna be going on for quite some time. Because we want to take over that, and then we want them to be okay with offering a status quo. So it's gonna take a while, I think. Off screen I'm gonna go through the ship designs and upgrade them to our latest tech, because we have better lasers and the enemy is using better lasers than us, so we should also have better lasers with our main fighting force down here. But we'll see the results of that next time. Have a good one.